Hi students, I'm trying to show you how to do this How Do Physical Factors Affect Ocean Life lab. So this is adapted from Teach Ocean Science, Observing the Ocean, Where Do the Critters Live? You need to read the background information about what a physical factor is. It's basically something that's non-living and can affect different living things in different ways. So this can be with the ocean, this can be the depth of the ocean, the temperature, it can be how much oxygen is in the water, pollution, etc. These are all physical factors. Make sure to read this background information. So for this lab, you will need internet access on a computer and you'll need this data sheet. So you're gonna go to www.ndbc.noaa.gov and you're gonna come to this website. So on this website, it lists the different ocean buoys that are out in the water taking temperature and different measurements, and it all filters to this website. So we're gonna first look at these different places on the US map, like Maine, and we're gonna write down the temperature. We're gonna do the temperature all in Fahrenheit, even though in science we often use Celsius, just because this site uses Fahrenheit. We're just not gonna convert, we're gonna leave it as it is. So the first place we're gonna go to is up here in Maine. Now on the map, it doesn't necessarily say Maine, so this is where watching the video is helpful in case you don't know where Maine is. So whatever area that I pick, there's lots of dots along Maine's coastline. I'm gonna try to pick something in the middle so that it's not at the top, it's not at the bottom. I'm gonna pick something towards the middle, and I'm gonna make sure whatever distance I go out into the water that I try to keep it equal distance on all of the locations that I pick. So I'm just gonna hit this box here, and it looks like it's about a centimeter on the map away from land. And my computer's getting a little glitchy there. But I'm gonna click on it, and this one doesn't say it says the air temperature, but not the ocean temperature. So I'm gonna click off of it and pick another one. And we have another one with air temperature. So I'm gonna come out here to this one and check. And there it is. It has a water temperature of 57.4. So it says water temperature 57.4. When you do this yourself, you'll be doing it on a different day. So you're gonna have different water temperatures. So I'm going to write down on mine 57.4 degrees Fahrenheit, just like that for Maine. Okay, then I'm gonna go down to New York. And here in New York, we'll zoom in a little bit. And we'll go about equal distance out. That one was kind of out in the water. So I'm gonna pick this one. And here the water temperature is 65.7. So it's pretty warm, so I'm gonna write 65.7. Once again, your answers are gonna be different because it will be on a different day. Okay, the next thing that I'm gonna do, once I've filled it out for all those locations, well, let me just show you where those other locations are on the map so that you know. This is Chesapeake Bay. This is the last one. Now, obviously here, I went out about an inch in the water. I can't do that here, so I'll just pick one of these stations until I can find a water temperature. And then we're gonna go to, here's the South Carolina down here, and I would probably pick that one because it's the same, about an inch out in the water. You don't have to pick those. And here's Virginia, right by Chesapeake Bay. And we're passing South Carolina again. And then the last one, we're going to do Florida. Florida is so long that I specifically said choose Miami. There's not a really easy one to pick near Miami. And this one that's about an inch out does not have a water temperature. So I'm just going to pick another one near Miami. And the water temperature there is 83.8 degrees right now in October. Wow, they have really warm water there. Okay, so once I have that done and I have all my temperatures done, then on this page, you are going to take that data, and here's different animals listed, like the white perch can live between 32 and 86. Well, if Miami's temperature was 83, the white perch could live there, right? So I'm going to write Miami. And a lot of these different animals, and like ones even, some are even grass, a lot of these different organisms will be able to live in several locations. So I want you to list the potential locations for all of these that they could live. Some are going to be able to live in a lot, and some are just going to have very narrow places that they can live. I want to give you an example of that. For example, white perch can live from freezing all the way up to 86 degrees. But then if you look at, let's say the American lobster, that only has a range of 46 to 57 degrees, a very, very narrow, tiny range. Or like the Florida spiny lobster can only live from 71 to 79 degrees before it dies. Okay, so once you write down the potential locations for each of these organisms, then I want you to write what you would find in Chesapeake Bay at the time that you looked. So write down all the organisms that were found in Chesapeake Bay. What would you expect to find in Maine? Write down all the organisms you would find in Maine. All the organisms that might live anywhere from Maine to Florida to maybe even California, like your guess about our water temperatures get from about 50 to about high 70s. And then explain how organisms can live in so many different temperatures. For this second part of the lab and its application to climate change, what you're going to do is be able to read this graph and interpret like the temperature difference over 50 years. So this is actually hard for you guys to read. So this is where this video is really helpful. Also, if you want to look, there is a version that's in full color on your Canvas course so that you can look at a color copy of this graph. So here is 1950. And here is the first purple dot. I made it purple for this video so that you guys could maybe see it a little bit better, but it's this big dot here. So it's negative 0.1. And then here in the year 2000, after 50 years, it is positive 0.3. So that's an increase of 0.4. So I already have that written down for you as an answer. It's 0.4. And that's so fill out the 0.4 here. And that's about 0.72 in degrees Fahrenheit. So on that page, this one answer here is all you need to transfer. But just know that this is an interesting graph to show how much ocean temperatures have risen over time. And these are very tiny increments here, but the important thing is that it's the little things that die with temperature differences. So it's, you know, the little things are important because that's what the big things eat and use. So here you're just going to do some very basic math, and I will show you how to do that. In this part, you are going to take, if the starting temperature in Miami was 77 degrees in the year 2000, we're just going to add after 50 years, if the temperature is going up 0.72, then you're going to add that to the 77 and write it over here. So I'm going to have 77.72. And I'll write degrees Fahrenheit is my new temperature. So then that's after 50 years. So that's the temperature of Miami in 2050. So now I'm going to add another 0.72 after 50 years. So you're going to add 77.72 plus, and you're going to do 0.72, and you're going to get your answer and you're going to put it right here. And then you're going to take that answer, transfer it here, and add in another 0.72, and then put that answer here. And you're going to continue that all the way to here. Now the question is going to be at the end, if every 50 years we're going up 0.72 of a degree Fahrenheit, you're going to describe how the rise in ocean temperature will affect the habitat for marine organisms in Miami. What will be able to survive and what will die off. So some of these organisms now that used to live in Miami, you have it written down here. Which ones, right here, you have it written out, which organisms can survive in Miami. So what you're going to do now is, given the new temperature at the end of 200 years, what organisms can still live there and what organisms are gone. So then you're going to explain how this change in ocean temperature will affect our marine resources, like what will survive and what won't. This is just the standard you're working on. You don't need to do anything for that. So you basically finish your assignment here. That's it, and good luck. I hope you make some good connections with how physical factors affect ocean life. Take care.